Welcome to the Free Flowing Health Podcast, where we invite you to embark on a transformative journey towards a healthier, happier, more fulfilling life. Each episode brings you a dynamic exploration of the diverse aspects of health, wellness, and healing. I'm your host, Lisa Brown. Join me as I engage in intimate conversations with inspirational guests who share their unique stories and insights. These conversations will take you beyond conventional thinking, encouraging you to break free from the constraints of a one-size-fits-all healing approach. Our mission is to empower you with the knowledge, tools, and motivation needed to inspire real change. Are you ready? Let's dive in. Welcome back, everyone, to the Free Flowing Health Podcast. I'm excited about today's conversation. We're going to dive deep into the world of dating and love. Today's special guest is Lilli Bewley, based out of Phoenix, Arizona, and she's going to teach us all about how successful women who are lacking love in their life can find their way. It's never too late. Lilli, welcome to the show.
That's so true. It's never too late. Thank you so much for having me, Lisa. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, you're an expert in this realm, so I'm excited to pick your brain, and I'd love to ask you how you became a dating coach before we explore your journey in it just a little bit.
Oh, what a journey. Yeah, how I became a dating coach. Well, through a lot of failed relationships, for sure. Uh, definitely followed my journey of healing. I always like to say I was born with a really big heart. Like I've always been loving and caring and kind. Didn't grow up in the best environment. There was a lot of overt and covert abuse happening in my household. The model that I witnessed as far as like romantic relationships or marriage or partnership was not the best. And then kind of going through my life of failed relationship after failed relationship after failed relationship, basically, and me losing myself kind of on that path. And then, I had the biggest kind of awakening, growing up in that type of environment. We didn't really talk about really anything. We didn't talk about mental health. That wasn't like a regular conversation. It was never a conversation really. But growing up through in that kind of environment and not really knowing that there was like another side to being a human, there was another way of being. There were things that I could go after that wasn't like a cool job or a resume or a car or a house or money. But I hit this like breaking point in my life where I had achieved everything that I was supposed to achieve. Like I am really good at achieving. I am really good at validation. I'm really good at, checking things off the list. And then I kind of hit this point where I got everything in my life that I was supposed to get, that was supposed to make me happy. And so I was in a relationship at the time. It was a pretty unhealthy relationship, like, had to call the cops on him a couple times, like that type of vibe. And I had everything. I had the resume, I had the six figures, I had the banging body, I had, all of the things I was supposed to have. And I was so unhappy. I was dying inside, mentally, physically, spiritually, all of the things. And so that's when I kind of opened up to healing and that there was a different way. And through that, I started to focus on relationships in my practice. But what I realized, and this was through my experience and my journey, and what I realized, something that no one ever talks about, which is we have to pick the right people. Because I don't know if you've ever been in this situation, Lisa, but I was in these relationships where I was carrying all of the emotional weight in the relationship. I was pushing the relationship forward. I was learning the love languages, new communication styles, setting the date nights on Friday that never ended up happening. That's what, we were told to do. But what no one ever talks about is picking the right person is probably the most important thing, because we have to have someone that is willing to meet us halfway, or to meet us in the journey. And so that's why I started with dating. One of my coaches said, you can't polish a turd. And man, that hit so hard, because it's so true. So why not start from the beginning? Create the foundation inside of yourself where you can listen to your intuition that you've probably been detached from because of all the stuff that's happened to you in the past. Learn how to speak up for yourself, for your needs and your wants and desires. Learn how to choose the right people a lot quicker than you have before, so you don't go down that path where you feel stuck. You stay too long and all those things. And it's really about, I take an inside out approach. A lot of dating coaches take an outside in approach. Your friends and your family, it's an outside in, like, oh, do this, and blah, 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 and things will happen. But it's really about our energy on the inside, about who we're attracting on the outside. So that is why that I'm sitting here as a trauma informed dating coach, number one trauma informed dating coach.
I love that. And your story is incredibly relatable, not only for me, but I'm sure many of our audience members and listeners, especially growing up in the society where women are independent, they're people pleasers, they're putting everybody else's needs first. They've experienced trauma, maybe never had that safe space to openly discuss the effects of that trauma. And then they
Mhm.
create these subconscious patterns and they keep attracting the wrong partner. And while they're achieving externally and from the outside looking in, it looks like they're completely successful, and they are in many realms, they're
Mhm.
lacking internally. So
Mhm.
how does a successful woman begin to create this foundation so they can break through those subconscious patterns and begin to attract the
Mhm.
quote unquote right partner, no matter
Yeah.
what age they are?
Yeah, totally. Great question, Lisa. And I think it just starts from the beginning with a little bit of a mindset shift from the beginning. Like mindset shifts probably, I don't know, like if you're dating, Lisa, or if you have friends that are, but a lot of the people that are I work with, or a lot of the women that I work with, they've done a lot of work on themselves. So they know, like in their head, that they're, beautiful, they love themselves and they're worthy, but their actions and who they choose, their behaviors don't line up with everything that they think, or believe. Like you're talking about these unconscious and subconscious patterns. The first thing is, and especially this is so prevalent with dating because this used to be me, you know, there's this conversation out there about like dating sucks, dating sucks, dating sucks. Like I used to be that person. I used to feel it inside my bones. I used to I call it the delete and download cycle on the app,
Uh-huh.
like have the hope, download the app, go through it, get ghosted, frustrated, confused, this whole cycle, right? And the conscious shift, at least at the beginning, is to be open to a better way. Like dating, it's not that dating sucks, it's that your experience with dating sucks. So it's up to you to change your experience on the inside of yourself so that you have an outside result.
Right. So don't worry about the hair, the nails, what other people tell you, the clothing, the wording on your profile, and all of those things that you think are going to bring you what you want. It starts with an internal shift.
Totally. I completely believe that. I've gone through it myself, and I've taken hundreds of women through this process as well to really like everything on the out, that like this is the beautiful space that you've created, right? Like that everything on the outside of us is a mirror of what's happening on the inside. And that's not to put blame on you at all, but it's about an opportunity to really do that alignment and that deeper level healing work. And a lot of women can feel this, but no one talks about it. Like if you go to your
Right.
friends and your family, they'll give you advice like, oh, there are many fish in the sea, or oh, just go have fun, or it's going to happen when you least expect it, while you're low key at the grocery store looking at a carrot, but also looking around you, for that like, a hot man, right? So, and it's really like you said, it's really about this internal alignment. So our beliefs, especially our beliefs, behaviors, actions, and thoughts and emotions kind of all line up with who we are.
Okay, so you've been through it. You've had the bad relationships. You've created the success in all aspects of your life. You did the healing work. Then you begin to coach people and you attract, I'm sure, like an amazing in alignment partner, right? I don't know how long you've
Mm-hmm.
been with your partner.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is the first step that any woman can take, especially a high powered, independent, successful woman who doesn't think that she needs anyone or anything in her life and
Mm-hmm.
is, in a way, blocking herself from love? And maybe we can jump into the archetypes in a minute, but I feel like that's the
Yeah.
woman that you're talking to, really.
Mhm. Yeah, totally. Yeah. The first step, like I said, is being open to a better way, a different way. And like it's really, really difficult to let go of control for a woman like this, right? Because everything that she has been doing in her life has got her to the point of success, whatever success means to her, right? And that is um a level of perfectionism, a level of control, a level of, really, really, really getting good at this role, whether that it be a mother or an executive or a helper or a coach or a teacher or whatever it is. And it's really, really difficult for that type of woman. Like I raise my hand, I'm raising my hand right now, y'all, is that, yeah, yeah, exactly. Like it's very, very difficult for that type of woman to realize that maybe she doesn't have all the answers, especially when it comes to dating relationships. It's that's like the last up level, the last level of healing that she needs to do. So really my it's very frustrating, I feel like sometimes for some people, because I am very like within the integrity of the work that I do with my clients and myself, I really hesitate giving any tips, tricks, strategies, or hacks because what this whole process is actually about learning to re-listen to yourself. It's about becoming your authentic, self, which can get a little bit like cliche, I guess you could say, right? But it really is about relearning how to listen to your needs and wants and desires. Figure out what your needs and wants and desires are. Because if you're all like me, I had no idea, what I wanted because my needs and my desires, my wants, my whole life were given to me by other people. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a very subjective, it's a very personalized process of finding the way. And so the number one thing really is really overarching, and it's not a tip, it's not a strategy
Yeah.
or a hack about what you can change on your dating profile to make this happen today, but it really is about, are you ready? Is this woman ready? Is this person ready? Is this archetype ready to step into a level of support, a level of healing that maybe you haven't experienced before, right? And it's very scary, right? Like it gets very uncomfortable.
And that's a great segue because you mentioned archetypes and you created this the dating archetypes, and people
Mm.
can go and take a quiz and find you online. So can you talk a little bit about that and the different types of archetypes that there are?
Yeah, totally. I'd love to. So the feminine dating archetypes is that it's a datingarchetype.com. Anyone can go there. Even if you're in a relationship, you can, if you're seeing patterns, you'll probably likely find your pattern in there. But there are four different archetypes. It takes about 2 minutes to take the quiz. And really, I just want to, kind of put a little bit of a foundation about where they came from. And that's that one of my biggest values in my life is to talk about the things that people don't talk about. And really, that's a lot about like the anxiety or the overwhelm that happens in the dating process or in relationship or like the ugly things, really, that, people tend to high vibe away or they tend to like push down or push away. Right. And so the archetypes really came from me looking back at my journey combined with, and God gave this to me really. And I'm so grateful to receive this because I looked through the feminine dating archetypes and it was really phases for me, phases that I went through. But women tend to get stuck in archetypes, right? It becomes a pattern. It was also the training and knowledge that I received about, different levels of theory, different modalities that happen in healing, what you go through in your healing process. And then combined with with my clients going through the same process. And it's like, mind blown because there are really four different types of phases that women go through if they continue to do the deeper level healing and then start to heal and unlayer and up level. Do you want me to go into them?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I'll just say a few things about, so there are four of them. The chill woman, is kind of the first phase that I went through. And I was like the chill woman for decades, like decades. It was me, like chill. Um, she is familiar with overwhelm and anxiety while she's dating, and this tends to flare up 42, 78 hours after not hearing from the other person.
Mm.
Super familiar. She gets ghosted a lot. The chill woman gets ghosted a lot, and she doesn't understand why. She's probably really good at communicating, like good at communication, and she tends to communicate well when she's dating, but for some reason, the other person just tends to disappear, and she doesn't like it's a pattern that she sees. The interesting thing about the chill woman, I don't know if this has been you, Lisa, but and this was me, like I said, for decades, I was always complaining in my relationships, like, you're not seeing me, you're not hearing me, you're not understanding me. Like she has this feeling of not being seen and understood in her relationship. Now, the good news is that the chill woman can heal from this, this archetype. The healing that the chill woman has the opportunity to do is about boundaries inside of herself, energetic time, the people that she invites into her life. It's all about boundaries. It's also about seeing and hearing and understand herself and her different parts of herself on the inside so she can start to learn what her needs and wants and desires are.
Yeah, I can relate to that as a younger, maybe like late in my late teens, early 20s. And I have a lot of friends now, though, who are still single in their 30s and even 40s that I hear this complaining from all of the time. So I'm sure
Yeah.
that they'll benefit from listening to this episode, and they may even give you a visit and hire you as a guide or a coach so that they can begin to improve their love life. All right, so we got the chill
Good.
woman, and
Yeah.
what else do we have? What other
So we
archetypes?
next we move on to like when the chill woman gets too tired of being, abused and kind of thrown away, she kind of moves, or I moved at least. This doesn't always have to happen. Sometimes people skip this phase, but the next one is the fortress woman.
Okay.
The fortress woman has a wall the size of the Great Wall of China around her heart. Like she has been hurt by love before. So the only way to protect her heart is just to not let someone in. Now, the fortress woman, if she's listening to this, is going to be really triggered by this because, and I get it, I've been there, because she is so hyper independent. She is so hyper independent that she has convinced herself, and the beliefs that parts of herself start to believe is that she doesn't need anyone. She doesn't want anyone in her life. Again, because it's just too scary. It's too painful for her, given her past experiences. When I was a fortress woman, I remember I had a beautiful house on my vision board, like a beautiful house on my vision board by myself, no partner, no, there was no vision, no hope of anything like that on my vision board. And I like this beautiful mansion, but I had like 1,000 dogs and a million animals. Like I was okay. I was okay with that. And again, I'm not saying if you're the fortress woman, I'm not saying that your experience is bad, but here's what the opportunity is. The opportunity is for you to heal the vulnerability inside of yourself, because vulnerability and not bringing the right people into your heart has been really, really painful. So her work is to work on self-trust, relearn how to listen to her intuition, so she can choose the right people to let into her heart energy and her time and her space.
Or isn't it even stronger with the fortress woman? I have spent most of my years living in that space of independence, huge wall, heart as cold as stone, and just making all of the excuses and almost like a cop out. And also with the vision boards and living mostly just in this isolated path and not wanting to date or needing to date or claiming that,
Mm-hmm.
luckily that I evolved past that. I've done the interpersonal work. I've created
Good.
an amazing relationship, attracted an in alignment partner.
Nice.
So what's next on the list?
Nice. Nice. That's amazing. So the next one is the goddess woman. So the goddess woman, she is really, really familiar with personal growth work. She's done her work, therapist, coach. She has like by her bedside table a lot of unfinished self-help books, for example. Like she's in it. She's into post personal growth work. The the experience that the goddess woman has, especially when it comes to dating, is that her outward perception of who she is, like on her, with her friends, her family, her IG profile, her TikTok profile, is very, very different than what is happening on the inside of herself when in dating and relationships. So there's a huge disconnect between like her level of authenticity on what she's
Ah.
presenting outside and what she's really, really feeling, especially around the dating aspect of things on the inside. So she is super confused and frustrated with love. She tends to attract partners who she thinks that maybe are less than her, and especially in her like personal development, like that realm. And this can tend to turn her into kind of subconsciously and unconsciously like the teacher, their mother or their coach instead of their lover. So there's a very, and the goddess woman was like the very last phase that I went through myself. The things to heal with a goddess woman, and this is the hard part about the goddess woman, because she's already done a lot of healing. She's already done a lot of conscious work, but there are subconscious and unconscious patterns in her that really, really need to get to the root. Um, and there are really, really strong parts of the goddess woman that hold on to perfectionism and that hold on to control. Because perfectionism and control have really got her to this higher level goddess woman vibe. But still there's really some unconscious ickiness, like almost like a glass ceiling when it comes to dating and relationships that she just really needs to get to.
Right. And then it comes back to the self. It's almost like rescuing the victim or projecting onto the other person. So you don't
Mm.
have to look into the mirror and do that deeper dive and really put in the work. All
Mm-hmm.
right. So we've got the goddess, the fortress, the
Chill.
chill woman. So what's number four?
Ooh, okay. So the woman that I aspire to be, and that my clients aspire to be is the magnetic woman. So the magnet, and mind you, I'm not the magnetic woman 100% of the time in my life. Like I've really, really healed my perfectionism tendencies. And so 80% of the time, if I can really be authentic and not performing as the magnetic woman, but being the magnetic woman,
Ah,
yeah, that's the juice right there. And the magnetic woman knows who she is and what she wants. It's like this energy that you can't really it's hard to put words, but it's about like how she carries herself, the words and the energy, or the energy behind her words. She speaks up for her needs and wants and desires. Her worth and her magnetism, especially for the goddess woman, her worth and her self-love have moved from her head to her body, meaning the actions that she is doing in her dating life in particular, who she accepts in her heart, in her dating life in particular, they've moved from her head to her body. So there's a congruence and there's an alignment of who she is and what she wants. Um, she asked for what she wants, the magnetic woman, and she is okay either way, whether she gets it
ah.
or she doesn't, right? So that's key with magnetic woman. So that's kind of the journey that I've been through, that a lot of my clients go through, and then where people can get stuck.
Actually sounds like a really fun process. So if people want to work with you, how is that possible? What is the first step? How can they find you?
Yeah, well, thank you so much for this space, Lisa. I love talking about the archetypes. It's so fun. It's so fun for me. Yeah, if anybody wants to take the quiz, it's at datingarchetype.com. It'll 2-minute quiz. It'll reveal your blocks to love and help you find your true love match. I'm on all the socials at Lilli Bewley as well.
That's awesome. And I love to conclude with the question, what does free flowing health mean to you? I know we only have 30 minutes to chat and it went by really quickly. And
I
I can't
know.
believe it's been
I
30
know.
minutes already. We'll have to do a future episode to dive even deeper. So when you hear the term free flowing health, what does it
Hmm.
bring up for you?
For me, it brings up authenticity. It brings up the presence of and confidence of being who I am. Um, I've learned through my healing to really listen to myself. Like confidence, a lot of people, the way that people define confidence is really outside based, but really, I believe it's inside based. It's about, do I trust myself to make the right decisions? And free flowing health to me means this presence and connection with a divine source. I would use the word God, um, so that I can be a beacon of light. I can be who I am. I can be on purpose. And I can be, again, who I am without all of those old school, old Lily, little baby Lily, as I like to call her. Those types of roles and performance that I got really good at. But it really, really feels so good for me to be loving, caring, and kind and not be abused, really.
I love that. And you're really making waves and creating this ripple effect out into the world. And I know your
Mhm.
goal is to influence 1 million people, right? Is that correct? Or women to find true love?
Yeah, that is my goal, and the ripple effect does count in that goal because it is so true what you're saying about a ripple effect is that when we start to be aligned with who we are, everyone that we meet in life, and this isn't just dating and relationships, this is everywhere. This is our kids, this is like the people in the checkout line at the grocery store. People always say, "Oh, just shine your light." we cannot shine our light truly and authentically until the light is safe inside of ourselves. And that is the work that we need to do based on all the crap that we've been through in the past and what we were modeled and shown at the beginning.
Right. So I love the work that you're doing, no matter what somebody has been through, no matter what their age is, no matter what kind of traumas they underwent in childhood, no matter what kind of abuse they endured in their relationships. You're here to shine light and just show people that it is possible to find true love, to align with your higher soul, to become that magnetic woman that you were meant to be, and really have it all, not just the external success, but also, that peace within. So thank you so much for doing the work that you're doing. And I hope that all of the entrepreneurial type of successful women out there listening that are just lacking in love will take it upon themselves to contact you and to work with you and to discover what's possible. So thank you for being here today. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Free Flowing Health podcast. Your support means the world to us. Help us grow by leaving a positive rating and review. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share this podcast. If you'd like to stay connected, you can find me on social media at Free Flowing Health, or visit my website directly, freeflowinghealth.com. Wishing you a happy, healthy, and fulfilling life. Till the next time.
This podcast is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only and should not be considered legal, health, or professional advice. We are not responsible for any losses, damages, or liabilities that may arise from the use of this podcast. This podcast is not intended to replace professional or medical advice. Views and opinions expressed by the guest are those of the guests and do not necessarily reflect the view of the host or the Free Flowing Health team.